Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. Let the other get no. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Nope. Hold on, guys. One more second. Let me remove this. What is going on?
There we are.
There it is. I am so sorry. I forgot that I had it on as an overlay. Welcome, everybody, to the 19th episode of 4-4 on Goal, coming at you live on a beautiful Tuesday evening outside. I did just walk outside real quick, and it is wonderful out there. So I hope everyone's enjoying the weather. And as you guys seen, I seen a couple comments in the box, and let's see. Thanks, David Rivas and Sammy for pointing out what we did. From my reading, correct me if I'm wrong. It's so doing the black screen on Facebook. Well, hold on, getting too far. I'm Ryan. This way to me is Tom. Okay. Below me today is Sammy with the coffee cup, like always. So we want to welcome everyone to the show. Definitely got some interesting hot topics to talk about tonight. Everything going on in the world is craziness. I was talking to my wife, and I said, this is something my son, he's 6 years old right now. This is something my son is going to be doing a social studies report on when he is 18 in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. So what we are living in right now is it's craziness. I cannot help but every single day watching these Facebook videos, whether it's in LA, Cleveland, Columbus, Minneapolis, San Jose, wherever it is. I cannot help but continue to watch and see what's going on. DC has been a hotbed, man. I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on in DC, but it is absolutely nuts there. But so real quick, just so everyone knows, the blackout screen is it's a peaceful protest. In a way, we're supporting Justice for George. We did 8 minutes of silence for him before the show started here. It is an internet way of protesting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sammy.
Really
you know a little bit more.
We're just showing our respect to George Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, anybody that's been affected by this. Those are two names that are in the front of our mind right now. This isn't something new. I hate that it took this long for everybody to kind of gather around, because this is the most juice I've ever seen this movement have. So basically what we're doing is we're trying to do our part to show we respect it, solidarity with everybody. We're right there with you. So that's basically what it's about.
Absolutely.
The blackout, we kept our social media posts to a minimum today, just to let you know when we're going to be here, kind of what we're talking about. Wanted to give a shout out to Ashley Bell and Jamie Farmer. They did a sit down earlier. Ashley Bell, African-American woman, making her way through these events right now. She's down in Virginia. Always been outspoken. I love Ashley. Always have. That's been one of my road dogs forever and ever and ever since arguing with her on the bus in 7th grade. I mean, and Jamie Farmer, who comes from a different side of the aisle as a white teacher here. So it was really, really good to watch that. I love how much everybody's trying to take a part. Everybody's trying to get their voice out. And 440 and goal, we're just trying to do kind of the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, everything that's going on in this world. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that tonight. And not only are we going to talk about it, but we want to hear your guys' voice.
Yeah.
This show has
go ahead, Tom.
This show has always been based on audience participation. And everybody, I think, is afraid to participate when on hot button issues. But you know what? We'll never get any better if we don't talk about it. If we don't talk about the fact that black men die at an alarming rate just because it makes you uncomfortable, it's never going to change.
Absolutely, 100%.
Very, very true.
Shout out
in a
to
time
Ash,
of
who's on the cast now. How you doing, Ash?
Yeah.
I just talked about you. You missed it. LOL.
in a time where we're so nervous about what we put out on the internet because it's going to be there forever, and we're actually going to get to that in a little bit, which you put out on the internet being there forever, which I think we're all excited to talk about. I can't wait.
I listen. It's going to get downright nasty when we talk about this local business.
It's going to get real nasty. I can't wait. I'm literally I'm chomping at the bit. But the one thing I want to get out there is, no matter what the color of your skin, no matter your political affiliation, no matter if you think the sky is blue or if you think the sky is green, right now, if you have any gumption in your game, if you have any ounce of humanity to you, it behooves you to make your voice known, to make your position, your stance felt, because America is the land of the free. And as I ended the last show with, we are guaranteed as American citizens life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in no way, shape, or form have these men been afforded those rights for their American rights. And it's time for every person in America to stand up and say, I have that right. These men deserve it too, because they are American just like me. They are people. And you know what? I see something happening. You're goddamn right. I'm going to stop it. Excuse the language, but I'm going to use my voice to definitely power and not bring anyone down. Because guess what? It can't happen anymore, because if it continues to happen, we're not going to have a country anymore. We're not going to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's going to be burnt to the ground. So it starts with us. It starts with a city like Ashtabula, where everyone loves each other, to show people protests can happen. They can be peaceful, and we can enact change in that way. So let's do it. Let's not talk about it, be about it.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness wasn't meant just for people of one skin color. And this country has never put that into order. Black people have always been behind the 8 ball. Slavery has happened a long, long time ago. I understand that, but the recovery time is still happening now. There are mentalities, there are systems in place. We're seeing it. Is it better now to be a person of color than any other time in history? Yes, that is a fact. You have more of a chance to be successful as a person of color than any other time in history. Is it where it needs to be? Is it where it even should be for where we are as a people and as a country? No, and that's ridiculous. No. You cannot keep feeding a group crumbs and expect them to be full. Everybody deserves a seat at the table. Absolutely everybody deserves a seat at the table. Not at the kids' table and not in the barn. We should all be eating together.
Absolutely.
Everybody should at least get a shot. This same shot.
It's their right, man.
Comments, yeah.
It's everyone's right.
It's very much so. I mean, everyone has the right to, I don't even really know how to explain my feelings a lot of times, but I know what I witness and what I see It needs to change. I've said from the beginning, I've told this to Sam and Tom, the policing system, they are not the judge, jury, and executioner. In my opinion, what you've seen with Mr. Floyd was he became he was the judge, the jury, and he executed them all in one shot. That's just what it was. And
he had no right. He had no right.
There's no right to do what he did in any way, shape, or form. There it is. Sammy, I said it.
I want to touch on something real quick, and I know we didn't really cover this in pre-show or whatever, but as I'm thinking, every day our show goes into a different thing. One of the things that Ashley and Jamie talked about in their sit down that really was phenomenal is
I think I know where you're going with this. Yeah, I agree.
Racism doesn't stop just where you see people. It's changing this stuff behind closed doors. Jamie talked about it, and that's the most truth. It is when you don't see black people around, how are you talking about them? Because that's how you truly feel about them. And in times of turmoil, that's what's going to show.
Right. And what you've seen on Facebook this week and whatever social media outlet everyone uses, you've seen a lot of true colors coming out of the woodwork. A lot of true colors. I cannot wait
to talk about
and they're ugly.
That dude who owns a sign company, who is literally getting
yeah, it's so real quick, so as everyone probably knows, we're not here to announce it, I guess, but I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a movement that's going to be very interesting coming up this Saturday. From what I'm being told, my readings suggest that it's 4 p.m. at Cornelius Park, which to me is North Park. That's the way I've always known it as, but it was renamed. But North Park, where the fountain is, catty-cornered from the police station. They are a peaceful, I have to stress that enough, a peaceful protest at that park. 440 and goal. We will be down there. We do plan on doing some interviews, talking to folks that are there, and just getting personal opinions on what's going on and, how they feel about it. Because this, I could never remember a time, a situation, and unfortunately, this is not the first time we've seen something of this nature in my lifetime, at least. But I could never remember a time where there has been such a movement for change ever. It is from the West Coast to the East Coast. It is everywhere, and it is amazing to watch people unite in this way, shape, or form, regardless of your skin color. To watch people come together, hold hands. I watched a video today of a young white girl trying to save a young black man from it would be riot gear in DC. He hopped the fence, knelt down, put his hands behind his head, and they tried to push him back, and she stood in front of him just trying to defend him. And I thought it was amazing. Regardless whether you're 14 years old or you're 92, this is affecting everybody. And what's going on in this world, I think we're on the verge of a drastic change. So, but yeah, anyways, 440 goal will be down there.
There's a movie called Talk to Me, and it's with Don Cheadle, and he plays a radio personality called Petey Green in Washington, D.C., and it's super underrated. It's a fantastic movie. If you have not seen it, go check it out. I don't think it got a whole bunch of publicity, but I like it.
Didn't get a lot of juice, no.
But I remember as I'm watching that movie, one of the things that happens to Petey Green when he is on air, or while he is a radio host, is the unfortunate assassination of Martin Luther King and the immediate riots that occur. And I remember watching that and thinking to myself, like, man, I don't think we'll ever get there. Like, I hope, I can't imagine seeing that. I can't imagine everybody being in such unrest, in such unrest that they're going to riot and burn the streets because a political figure has been, I can't imagine people being that evil and seeing that. And here we are. This is what's happening. But what happens is you get to see Petey Green with so much anger, and then that transforms into him getting on the air, because at first he's like, I don't care. We can burn this whole MFer down. I'm done. I'm sick. And he comes to a point where he gets on air and he talks about, everybody, we got to love one another. We got to take care of each other. It's our neighborhoods we're burning down. But people have to go through grief. You know what I mean? There are steps to this. And you can't have just people expect them to just do the right thing immediately, because I brought it up on the last show, and I will always bring it up because I feel bad. At first, I was so harsh on people who were out there rioting and looting and stuff like that. Looting, that's a whole different thing. But the riots and the anger and the flipping of cars and stuff like that. And I at first I saw it. I'm like, why are they doing that? You're burning down your own stuff. But then I thought about it as if one of my kids got killed, I would burn the whole world down if it was my kid. You'd have to send an army after me. And that's where everybody is. It really is. We are in a time, like you said, of history. I remember in high school hearing teachers tell you, like, I was in the 60s and I protested, and thinking how, like, out of date and, like, old school that mentality is. And here we are in today, where we're repeating ourselves. But hopefully this time, I pray, because we have the wherewithal, we are integrated enough, we should actually be able to make some kind of a change. Some kind of a change should come of this. But we have to wait until people's emotions have died down, because you got to understand that what people are seeing in George Floyd is their brother. They're seeing their uncle. They're seeing their son. They're seeing their father being choked to death for 8 minutes on camera with 3 peacemakers watching. Can you imagine the feeling of your father or your mother watching while something bad happened to you and doing nothing? I mean, that you know what I mean? Like, this is where they are at, because you have backed an animal into a corner, and now everybody's pissed off because they're jumping back. I get it. I understand now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. What movie was that, Sammy? I would like to watch that, actually.
It's called Talk to Me. Talk to Me. Don Cheadle plays P.D. Green, a Washington, D.C. Radio host who has a foul mouth and gets in trouble all the time, but the people just love him.
So real quick, Tom, before you go, I just want to say real quick, I did cordially invite Ashley and Jamie just to join us briefly. I just want to hear about what their topics were real quick. Nothing major, but hopefully, Ashley, I don't know if you've seen, I sent a link out in the text, the chat box there. You just have to click that link and follow the instructions, and I'll be able to get you on for a couple minutes here. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
The one thing, Ryan, you touched on earlier, I might be misquoting you a little bit, but you said that you don't remember in your lifetime a movement trying to be started to affect social change am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
I mean, I've never seen so much social change.
I am going to touch on something very quickly here. And then we can go into it, or we don't have to go into it. I seem to remember in 2014, a young man of color knelt during the national anthem during a football game, and people dismissed him quite quickly and were very quick to judge him. And I'm telling you right now, if these people would have just listened to him and looked at what he was trying to do, I don't know if we'd be in the situation we're in right now. I think that we'd have a different perspective. I really want to shout out Colin Kaepernick for trying. He did what he could. He tried, and people wanted to shoot him down. You can love him, you can hate him, whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you right now, if people would have just tried to listen to the message he was trying to send, this would be different. because guess what? People are going to say, well, he knelt during the national anthem and he disrespected soldiers. Well, guess what, man? These police officers every day, they got a badge right here that has an American flag. And what the hell are they doing when they gun down or they kill young men of color? They're dishonoring the troops and they're dishonoring America by doing what they're doing. And I think that's kind of worse than what Kaepernick was doing. I think Colin Kaepernick should be viewed in a much different light. And I think his message, I think a lot of people are saying, oh, shit, maybe we should have not gotten up and walked out of the game when we saw him doing that.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Tom, because I was never critical on Colin Kaepernick, because any form of peaceful protest to me
was peaceful.
Yeah, any form of peaceful protest, I think, is a great form of protest. Any protest like that where you're getting your point across and it's really not hurting anybody, you're not affecting anybody's day to day. He is taking a stance against something at a time where you had to pay attention. But why I have to go back and why I have to almost apologize at this point is because I didn't really give it the credit it was due at the time. And the reason I didn't give the credit was because I had a problem with when he was doing it. I was in that crowd. I believed in what he was protesting, because police brutality, particularly against people of color, is not something new. It is something that we have always dealt with. It's something that I've dealt with myself. I understood what he's going for. I get it. I got it. I thought maybe the national anthem wasn't the greatest time to do it. And the reason why is because it's a hot button issue for a lot of people. Sure. The same way.
But that's why he did it, though. That's why he did it.
That's exactly it. And that's what I've come to learn is you have to get your voice correct. You have to get your voice heard.
So I'll be the first one to say
him is nothing short of corrupt. Even if he wasn't the best quarterback in the league, he wasn't the 33rd, and he damn sure wasn't the 65th worst quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
No. And here's the one thing I want to throw out there real quick. Colin Kaepernick tried to do what was right, and he lost hundreds of millions of dollars in a spot on an NFL team. Tyreek Hill beat the piss out of his kid. Ezekiel Elliott did some pretty messed up stuff to a significant other. And guess what? Those dudes are on NFL teams. Colin Kaepernick, he tried to be peaceful, and that man lost hundreds of millions of dollars in a job. And Joe Rich, you're a good dude, and I respect you, man. But Colin Kaepernick is not a loser. Colin Kaepernick's a hero.
Oh. Well, we had Jamie. So, yeah, I agree. So I'll tell you my stance real quick. I think what Kaepernick's point, what he was trying to prove, there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. He did everything in his power. I give him kudos for using that pedestal that he had to try to push that and push his thoughts across.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Ryan, I'm going to let you talk, and I won't interrupt you again. But Coach Rich, I'm going to have to stop you there, okay? A peaceful protest is not it's not your right. It is not your job to tell people what is the right stage and what's the wrong stage. Just because it affects you and it forces you to actually pay attention to it, or maybe it makes you uncomfortable, doesn't mean it's the wrong stage. The wrong stage of protest is when you're breaking into buildings and stealing shit. So what Kaepernick did was not the wrong stage. He was in the right. He didn't do anything that affected the game. He didn't do anything that affected soldiers. He didn't do anything that affected anybody's life. He kneeled.
He didn't kill a young
during
man.
An anthem that is going to glorify a country that didn't give a damn about him or people like him. And that's what.
And Marcus, I'm sorry, you're right. Ben Roethlisberger too. That's my bad. I just don't like to acknowledge Pittsburgh quarterbers.
I understand it's your hero, or I understand it's your opinion, Coach. I get it. But what he did was not wrong. And I like I said, I didn't give him credit at the beginning, but I understand what he was doing. Ryan, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, brother.
No, you're fine. Actually, no, you're fine. We got Ashley and Jamie sitting in the background here, so I want to bring them on. I want to talk a little bit about what Ashley's doing, what Jamie is. So let me bring them on now. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Welcome to 440 and Goal. I really appreciate you guys' stopping in real quick. This whole bringing people on is actually quite exciting for me because I got Sammy to finally listen to me. It was great. So with the, obviously our show, we typically talk about sports, but in the past 2 weeks, it's been a little difficult. And obviously what's going on in the world trumps anything that's going on in sports right now. So, Ashley, I from my understanding, it's like your show. I know you were on there once, and I think before you were on there with a physician, if I recall right, and you were talking about a few different things. But if you want to kind of just speak out about a little bit what you and Jamie talked about, and then we'll let both of you kind of take the floor a little bit and just explain, your guys' side of things.
Okay, well, thank you guys for having me. I got a chance to chit chat with Jamie about her using her white privilege to speak out against what's going on in the world. Obviously, we've all known each other since high school, and we all have a little bit of background about who we are. But the thing about Jamie is that she's carried who she is into her adult life. She's always been a person who has stood up for the little guy, who's spoken for the underdog, who has spoken up for anybody who she feels is doing wrong. And in this particular climate, she is still choosing to speak out against the injustices that are still going on against Black people. She mentioned that in high school, she was a bit of a feminist, and then she digressed to putting her attention to Black Lives Matter. And that's the important thing, is there are a bunch of disenfranchised and marginalized group of people, but right now the Black community is under attack. So I brought we've always been under attack. So I brought Jamie on to get her perspective as a middle-class white woman, and her speaking out against that. So that's what we talked about tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
one of the things.
Yeah, go ahead, Sammy.
I was giving Jamie a chance to talk. I didn't want to y'all gotta hear from her. I was just asking the question. It was Jamie's party tonight.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, we get a little bit of a delay with this. There's 5 of us, so we sometimes think that someone's waiting for us, and then we talk, and then everyone talks at once. It's a whole train wreck. But would you expect anything less? But go ahead, Jamie.
Beautiful train wreck, dude.
It is a beautiful train wreck.
In the city known for the train wreck.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Collins, baby.
Right. Yeah, so I was just so honored for Ashley to even ask me to talk to her about this. I'm just somebody who's just sharing, stuff that I agree with on Facebook, like really. And like she said, I was a bit of fun. Sammy was another one that was always rolling his eyes at me when I went on my rant.
Oh, we'd never do that.
I used to get her fired up on purpose.
Yes, I remember it very, very well.
Still do.
And you still do. I watch you and I'm like fired up in the background, But what I love about the conversations I've had with Sammy and Ashley and Ryan, I haven't met Tom yet, but those conversations are always in a respectful manner, and they come from trying to understand each other. And that is the most important thing that I want to portray, is that during this time, there's so much anger and so much resentment, and I completely understand it. And if we can just talk like this more out in the open, like Sammy was saying, maybe we'll get people to change their minds. Maybe we'll get this movement to really get, like you said, it is moving really well. But, I try to say, well, we have to go after those middle people that just sit there in the background and aren't necessarily against, the movement, but don't really speak out. We need to get those people more vocal and more aware of what's going on. So that's really why we sat down and talked on my side of things. And I'll just continue to keep voicing my opinions and losing followers as we did probably, Ashley. But, it is what it is. And I want to be on the right side of history. And that's where we are.
Yeah. So, Jamie, you're a school teacher, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and what grade do you teach?
I teach high school special ed.
Jim.
Okay. Jim?
One of the
Who
things.
said Jim?
That was Chris. I'm sorry. He's in the background.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Chris. Yeah, just being awkward. It's fine. We get it. So
one of the people on Facebook who I enjoy because he gets on, he calls them old-fashioned T-dot rants, is Terry Henton. So I did an interview on here with Terry. But Terry throws out some gems on Facebook. And one of the things he said, and he says constantly, is that change will never happen unless you're uncomfortable. So we have to do this. Right. We have to feel bad. We have to understand that sometimes that this team doesn't have as much as this team. And we have to understand that. Because if you don't, one of the things Malcolm X said is that people want you to recover from a stab wound in the back, but you won't admit that there's a knife in the back still. It was something along those lines. I probably butchered the quote, I'm sure, but it's true. It's true. If you don't at least acknowledge the problem exists on both sides, then you'll never fix it ever. So we have to. This is important. We are important for what we're doing. We're starting this conversation. What you guys did tonight, Ashley and Jamie, is huge. Get two different perspectives. Get it together in one room, and let's talk about it.
Right.
Ashley,
and what
do
I
you
really
have a
appreciate
show
about
that you do? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. I was just going to say, just piggyback off of what Sammy said, and it's just important to get the perspective because you have to get that empathy. I was telling her when we were interviewing somebody else that we went to high school with, I kind of got into a debate with last night because she is the same age as us, and she said that there's no racism. And I just couldn't believe that somebody was that blind for you to say something that wrong. Like, that's the only thing I can say. How can you say that there's no racism when there's things that are so blatant that are going on right in front of your face? Like, the revolution is very much televised. And for you to think that it's not systematic, that it's not intentional, that it's not, because it's going on from the West Coast all the way down to the East Coast to Florida, that we are being killed by cops. Like, that's the thing. And I appreciated Jamie for even having the conversation and being empathetic to try to come with where we're coming from. Try to understand where we're coming from. But yeah, I do have a show that I call Life Talk with Ashley that I broadcast on Facebook. And last week I had a psychologist on that talked about how to deal with mental health issues and how to function properly in society. So I just want everybody to be well-rounded. So that's my goal with my show.
I like that. So yeah, don't forget everyone, tune in to Life Talk with Ashley. Because if you had Life Talk with Ryan, it probably wouldn't be that great of a talk. I will tell you.
No, Ryan, you have your pitch right here.
Yes, somebody appreciates me. Say the two to the right of me don't. Say that. Yeah.
They can't
so I want to thank both of you ladies for taking.
Thank
you know
so
what?
much.
Finally, yeah. I got some co-signers. All right. Anyways, ladies, I want to thank you guys so much for joining the show. Keep up what you're doing. Keep speaking out. That's all we can do to make this better. So thanks again. I'm going to hit the negative button on my screen that will eliminate you. So bye.
Thanks, ladies.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks, ladies.
So that was,
awesome.
Jamie Farmer and Ashley Bell. Life Talk with Ashley. Don't forget to tune into her. Check her out during the week. I wish I should have asked her, I guess, when she does it, but I don't know if it's sporadic or, but
you know what, Ricky? We didn't talk about
we're getting into it.
But yeah,
we're going to get into it, I'm sure.
I guess we should bring that up.
Right. So real quick, I just want to make so we were on Cap before we brought them on, and I didn't want them waiting. I seen Jamie was on a phone, looks like in a car, all that fun stuff. So I want to say what Cap, in my opinion, is doing. Right. What Cap did, and is still, honestly, he's still pursuing, the to make everything better. I don't know how else to say it. I'm terrible with that, but he's still pursuing it. I don't. My honest opinion is I don't like that he knelt during the anthem and on the flag, but I understood why he did it. I was kind of uneducated 4 years ago when he started it. It was just based off of what you've seen, but now over the last 3 years, I understand why he's done it. We've had so many issues. So, but I think Cap, keep doing what you're doing, man. You'll figure it out. Someone will. So, and it is sad. You are right, Tom. It is sad that
one of my favorite
to this
things
point now. We're to this point now.
One of my favorite things about Kaepernick is he's very generous. Okay, he's very, very generous for somebody who has dealt with as much as he has. And there can be an argument made that everything he does is for publicity. I'm not on that team anymore, because I thought that for a while. And then I just realized the stuff he's doing when people aren't watching obviously isn't for publicity.
Correct.
But you as a people, everybody needs to understand this. It is very, very easy to tell somebody how they should help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is not easy to help. So when Kaepernick took money out of his foundation or his pocket, or I don't give a damn where he did, when he was responsible for taking money and applying it to legal fees of protesters in Minneapolis, and you immediately brought to light, well, he should be taking that money and putting it toward the business owners who lost everything. Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Why don't you have somebody in your world who can move and shake? Because no matter how poor you are, or no matter how unconnected you are, if you try hard enough, you can get to somebody who is connected. You can get to somebody who can make a change, or you can make a change yourself. You do it. Stop criticizing people for trying to help other people, because it's not the right people, because you don't get to choose the right people.
Correct.
It's easy to talk, but it's hard to, you talk the talk, walk the walk, man.
I want to leave with one final point. Colin Kaepernick kneels and the world's in an uproar. Okay. I don't know if anyone realizes this, but players didn't come out for the national anthem until 2009. They were in their locker room doing God knows what, and you guys didn't have a problem with it back then. The same people who get mad at Colin Kaepernick for kneeling and disrespecting the flag are the same people that are sitting on their couch, eating chicken wings, drinking beer with their caps on, talking to their friends while the national anthem's playing on TV. I would call that maybe a little bit more disrespectful than what he did, if you're going to really talk about the value of honoring our national anthem.
There is only one person.
There's something to really think about right there.
There's only one person in history who has disrespected the national anthem. And her name is Fergie, and it happened at the NBA All-Star game.
All-Star game.
That
was
what did I miss? What did I miss?
You missed a lot, and it's not worth looking at.
Yeah,
it's not worth looking at, because your eardrums will literally burst. I mean, even Draymond Green, who I never agree with, was kind of looking around like, oh my God, this is a travesty. Like, and Draymond Green isn't the best, doesn't have the best voice either. So
no,
for him to say that.
He was in the background saying, "Ha! Got him."
Yeah. So absolutely.
So and the next thing we got right now is athletes in the protest, man. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of athletes, a lot of star players, if you want to call it that. And I guess the biggest one,
the national anthem too.
Roseanne disrespected everything in the world at one point or another. She is deplorable.
Yes,
I can't stand her.
I used to really appreciate it. The show was great. I was very much a fan. And then
you might
she did what she did.
1%.
So yeah, right. Well, I'll take it. It is what it is. Okay.
I like the show too. She's just awful.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm sure. Yeah. J.R. Smith beating the absolute brakes off somebody.
Oh, my God. Give that
Yes.
man a UFC contract. Dana White, call him up.
Listen,
I don't know of anyone else, but
J.R. Smith, it does not surprise me that dude has hands. Like everything, his whole swag just says that he's ready to knuckle up all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
The only dude in the NBA, in the history of the NBA, that I could think of that is more ready, that looks like he's more ready to throw hands at any other point, would be Delonte West. That dude looked like he should have been in like Cash Money, Young Money Records, not suiting up for the Celtics or the Cavaliers, man. Like that dude was straight up like I thought that dude was about to just beat the brakes off someone at any given time if you looked at him wrong. And then LeBron was about to have to call him dad for a little bit there, I thought. So, props to Delonte. I love him.
Yeah, now he's like Bernie Mac and above the rim on the streets because nobody's helping him.
Which is sad. It's really sad.
It is terrible. But listen,
sad.
J.R. Smith, you just have to remember, anything is possible with him.
Anything.
Anything.
Yeah, boy.
Was there any? That was the only, notable one, I guess, that I paid attention to.
Oh, no, John
I wasn't.
John Bones Jones. First of all, that's
okay.
the last person you want to fight as a civilian. He gets in trouble for being dirty in the octagon. There ain't no rules in the streets.
No. So John Bones Jones isn't just dirty in the octagon. He's dirty out of the octagon because he can't keep his pee clean, which is his biggest downfall. But he said something that I don't know if I necessarily agreed with, but at the time, it really made me think, because this is John Jones and he's putting himself in a precarious position being out there with all these people. He doesn't know what's going to happen to himself, and he doesn't care about his brand at this point. He doesn't care about getting hurt. He doesn't care about the repercussions which could happen from him being out there in a dangerous situation. He said something that I don't know how to take it really, because it's just a clip, so I don't know the whole context, but he said this isn't about George Floyd anymore. And I don't know how to take that. But when you see a guy like John Jones out there trying to enact a change, I think it speaks volumes to the social awareness that these athletes have now, and they realize their position in this world. It's like that LeBron bit, more than an athlete, and he's recognized his station in life as more than an athlete. He recognizes as a member of the African American community, he needs to be out there enacting a change and being the change he wants to. That old adage, being the change you want to see in the world. And with him out there, I think it just speaks volumes, because that guy's already lost so much with UFC because of what I said earlier, not being able to pee clean, not being able to do stuff the right way. And then he goes out there and puts himself in that situation, and you can't have anything but respect for him. You know what I mean? And then there was Chuck Liddell too. Chuck Liddell was out there. I saw him throw a few bows. That's the last guy I'd want to get hit by is the Iceman, because I'm going to be on ice.
Well, you know what?
One thing, in my opinion, that it teaches you that it doesn't, regardless of the amount of money you make, regardless of how high up you are, in the end, we're all equal in some way, shape, or form, because we're all doing the same thing, all about that same, I think Marshawn Lynch did say about that life or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like,
we're talking about kind of the violent ones. But there are athletes out there right now that are doing some nonviolent stuff too. Pat Mahomes, who's on Pat Mahomes, who's on the verge of becoming the face of the league, is being quoted right now saying, life should be like the locker room where you're just being accepted for who you are. It will never be that way, but it's a beautiful sentiment. That tweeting out that these senseless killings cannot continue.
Joe Burrow, dude.
I give credit to guys who are doing this, because people there's a guy that everybody considers the GOAT that never took a political stance on anything ever, because he was more worried about selling shoes than standing up for something. So anybody who's doing that, who puts themselves out there and risks losing, advertisements and ultimately, pissing off racist old white guys who spend money, because that's who you have to worry about, that, because it's not us. We're not going to stop buying his stuff. We're not going to give him crap about sticking up for this. It's the 50, 60-year-old guy who's like, I ain't going to buy that if that's all he's going to talk about. There is a risk there, because those guys spend money, so that's money out of their pocket. You've got guys like Josh Cribbs, who didn't tweet, who didn't go Instagram Live, who didn't go Facebook Live, who they found cleaning up the streets of Cleveland after the riots because they bumped into him. Because that's what he does. He was out there.
We had a really good talk about that last night, Sam.
Huh?
You and I had a really good discussion about that last night.
That's when it matters.
Yeah. And I would argue with that, I would almost consider Josh Cribbs more ingrained in the culture of Cleveland and the athlete from Cleveland sports you should respect the most because he's out there. He's out there. He's doing it for Cleveland, man. He didn't have a career here. He didn't have to do anything for us when we got rid of him and he went to Indy. You know what I mean? But he made his home in Cleveland, and he loves Cleveland.
Yes, Josh Cribbs is more Cleveland-centric than LeBron is.
LeBron
is more important because of the money he brought in. But when
and the championship
title and a championship,
when shit hits the fan, Josh Cribbs is always there.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him at hospitals. I've seen him at Make-A-Wish. Every time there's a celebrity softball tournament, anytime there's anything to help somebody else, Josh Cribbs is there. And some people can say that he is, hunting for fame or whatever. I don't think so. I think he truly gives, actually wants to give back to a city that gave him so much. People forget this is a quarterback from the MAC that came onto an NFL team, and they gave him a shot. And I think he's forever in debt to that, not just to the team, but because the city embraced him.
We loved him, man. We still do to this day.
I would take him over probably 60% of our roster right now.
Yeah. What does this comment mean? I'm confused. What they buy?
Those old racist guys.
He's saying that they only
God. New Balances only. Come on, man. I buy Skechers though. Are those cool? Especially ones without laces. They're just like stretchy shoes.
Kawhi Leonard endorses New Balance now, though. I mean, it ain't going to be for those guys for too long, man. New Balance is about to hit a wave. I'm going to tell you what. You heard that right here from Taylor Shop with Tom.
Isn't that what's his name? Kawhi Leonard's
yeah, that's what it is.
Sponsor. So
that's what I was just saying. Action Bronson likes Balance too, and he's a pretty overweight good rapper.
You're welcome, Becky. You're welcome, Becky. Hey, I show the audience. I think we got like 24 viewers or something like that. I have heard the drum beating that there is a potential protest happening on Bridge Street tomorrow. So if anyone knows about that, please just message me. I'm just really curious.
Ryan,
I gotta ask.
Ryan, it's going to be Christmas, and you're going to be saying, I heard there's a potential riot or protest on Bridge Street happening. Does anyone have any information? Will St. Nicholas be there? What about Donner and Dancer?
No. Good God. No, I'm just curious. I know that's what I've heard about his local-owned Ponderosa 84 Grill Edition.
He absolutely does, David. He absolutely does.
Wait, I do got him right here. I got him right here, baby. Coming in hot. Sorry. Anyway,
I just want Ryan. Those things probably smell like sweat and
no,
Frito.
They don't actually.
Shame.
They smell.
Don't do that. Do not throw up, man.
They smell like mothballs. They're
Ladies
clean.
and gentlemen, that's how the Corona started, right there.
They're a pair of J's though, and they're forces. It's the only reason why I took them. Only reason. Good night. All right. So kind of back a little bit onto Mr. Floyd here. The other day, we had the original autopsy, and then they came back out with who was it, Sammy? You named the guy last night, the gentleman that did this.
So here is why this matters. Okay. Originally, the coroner came out and said, coroner, mind you, which is an elected position. So keep that in mind. When you either A, don't vote, or B, go to the polls and just vote for anybody who you don't know. I don't know.
Rick, sorry, probably the worst spot to put that, but I cannot help it. That was my mother, and now it's getting a hashtag.
So here's why this matters. The coroner originally came out and said that the cause of death for George Floyd was not primarily from asphyxiation. Okay? What that does is set up for, because mind you, he got a third-degree murder charge. So third-degree murder means, so the way you get a third-degree murder charge is if you intend to hurt somebody, but you don't intend to kill them. So the way people get that is like, say you're in a bar fight and you hit somebody in the head with a pool stick. You intended to hurt them. You did not intend to kill them. You still killed them, but there's no intent. He's probably like first or second degree, because you can't stand on somebody's neck for 8 minutes and tell me you didn't mean to kill him. That's stupid. And if you don't agree with that, I don't care. Go watch a different show. So the coroner comes out and says that his underlying conditions all played a bigger part than the asphyxiation itself. Kudos to the family for going out and getting Dr. Baden, who is probably the most well-known coroner in the world. He did like Michael Jackson and Anna Nicole Smith, all these. He
did my boy Prince.
Yeah, all these people who have died. He's the one who goes in there and figures it out. Because they realize that what's going to happen is this guy's going to get into a courtroom and they're going to say, well, it wasn't directly from asphyxiation, so he's not, really a murderer. It's, excessive force, maybe even give him a year of community control instead of prison. What Baden does is go in there, checks all the tissue samples and everything, and says, no, he absolutely got choked to death. Not only did he get choked to death, it was a long, tenuous murder over 8 minutes.
Right.
It was excruciating what this man died from, how he died.
So I'm curious myself. He got the third-degree charge after they determined possible asphyxiation. No.
So
before.
here is
he was arrested and then the autopsy.
Yeah, allow me to put on my tinfoil hat or whatever, because this is where I get into, instead of fact, I'm talking a little bit of conspiracy.
That's on my only. Sorry.
When you have a department that messed up, and you have a coroner that they work hand in hand, okay? That's where a plan can come together of, all right, guys, here's how we're going to pacify these people. We're going to arrest them. We're going to give him a third-degree murder charge. We're going to need you to say that he didn't die directly from being choked to death, that other stuff mattered. That way, when we bring him to court, he's going to be found not guilty, so it's not a smudge on our department. So everybody comes together, and it's one neat and tidy thing that you've pacified people for now, and then later on they'll take care of, fixing it. Well, the family's not having that. Baden has given them the new testimony, and now this guy's actually going to be charged with murder. What worries me is now you have two conflicting reports. With two conflicting reports, in the United States, you only have to plant the seed of doubt in one mind on a jury of 12. And that's what worries me. And that's what worries me. And you can mark it down right now. You can stamp it. If this man gets away with the most televised murder of a person of color I can remember in the history, this country will burn down to the ground.
Yeah,
the ground.
Sure will.
It doesn't matter what color you are. You should be vested in this case, and you need to make sure that people are doing the right thing. And not only that, they need to have 24-hour watch on this guy, because I don't want him getting Ariel Castro's quick way out, dying, or Jeffrey Epstein. I want him to suffer and take every moment of hell that he's going to get.
Throw him in General Pop, man. Throw him in General Pop. I'll tell you what.
And keep the best doctors around him for when he gets his ass kicked. That way they can put him together so it can happen again.
Absolutely. All day, every day, man. I'll tell you what. I have never wanted someone in prison. I haven't wanted someone in prison this bad and to be just destroyed day after day since Aaron Hernandez. You want to talk about another piece of trash? That dude, because you knew that dude was going to take the easy way out because it's Aaron Hernandez, and he was a fake tough guy. This guy was trying to be a tough guy, and he seems like a fake tough guy. but don't let him Hernandez himself, man. Let him live with his consequences and make him suffer every day with the knowledge that he ruined not only a family, but he ruined the well-being of an entire state, an entire city. And there's repercussions for that, man. There's repercussions. You can't just take these out.
So my question for you guys is, I was just thinking about it, is the other 3 officers, that's
just
been
guilty.
Almost pushed to the wayside.
So here's the thing.
Just as guilty.
Those other 3 officers need to be prosecuted. I believe the United States has something called an accessory to murder.
Yep, they do.
And that's what you are. You're an accessory to murder. But I want to put this out here too. In the police force, just like any other in the military, okay? You are at the will of your senior officer. And this is why we need a culture change. Because I don't believe that in all of these police brutality incidents that all the police involved agree with it. I don't believe that the police even want that to happen, but I do know that the police department is probably the most political job in the entire country. You know what I mean? So I think there's mind you, listen, I am not justifying anything they do. I'm calling for a change in culture, because what I'm saying is there is a culture in the police department where people are having to make a decision on whether to make the right choice or remain a police officer, or make the right choice or ruin their career. And I'm not saying that making the right choice or ruining your career should be a deterrent, because in a perfect world, everybody, if you make the right choice, is going to be able to move forward in life. But that's not how this works. So if you want to change the police and you want to change the way that they're operating, go after the department and this code and this, this everybody, you have to take care of each other. No, there needs to be an open communication. So when your sergeant, who's been in the police force since the 1970s and likes to drop the N-bomb on jokes or likes to make, ridiculous comments about stuff, that you can call him out and say, you do it again and you're going to lose your rank. You do it again, we're going to take care of you. And I don't give a damn that you were the best man in the mayor's in the mayor's wedding. I don't care that you're the chief of police nephew. I don't care about any of that. We are to be held to a higher standard, and this is how it is. And if you guys don't like that, and if that's not what, if you think that the police deserve to have that little bit of inch room to be terrible, then me and you will never have anything to talk about, because they should be held to a higher standard. I'm a nurse. I don't care if a nurse has been a nurse for 40 years. If she's giving people wrong medications, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, the way this world is policed in itself needs to change in every way, shape, or form. Like you said, the Corlew thing, we got to knock it down to its, down to the foundation. It needs to start over. We are not in the 60s, the 50s anymore. We are in the year of 2020. And I don't know about you. I said this to some folks I work with. I said, everyone knows I sell cars for a living. Everything that you do has to evolve on a day-to-day basis. You cannot stay stagnant. If you become stagnant, you're just going to lose. It's not going to work for you. And the same, I guess, mantra or motto, whatever you want to call it, needs to go for the police. I mean, you have to evolve with your country. That's what it is. You cannot sit back and hope that the same tactics of kneeling on someone's neck that's been, what did you say, it was condemned in like 48 states or something, Sammy?
Yep.
The way he did it, condemned, and I'm sure Minnesota is one of them, that no one just talked about it, but you cannot be okay with that. And as an officer,
a knee to the back of the neck isn't okay anywhere. The knee to the back has been, they've been taking that out because it causes harm. So listen, if your police force is antiquated, then it's time to get updated.
Yeah.
How about that?
Great point. Yeah. Yeah. Update your police force. I mean, drywall's not hung the same way it was 20, 30 years ago.
That's right. And that's
plumbers are changing the way they plumb a house.
Right. I'm not talking about just beat cops either. I'm not talking about parking cops. I'm talking about your chiefs. I'm talking about your lieutenants. I'm talking about the guys that make the decisions that mold your force.
Yep. Yeah, and you are right, Coach Rich. It is one of the toughest jobs in the world.
Absolutely.
And I hate to tell whoever this, I hate to tell them this, whoever's going into becoming a police officer, it's just going to get harder. It's not going to be easier. You have another probably 2 decades of trying to figure this out before it actually resolves in some way, shape, or form, if not longer. I mean, we've been trying this since I've known. It is the toughest job on the planet. But if that's what you want to do in life, be willing to evolve, because you have to be able to do it.
Yeah, I respect police officers. I always will. I always will.
Here's the thing.
They have the tough job.
It is a very tough job. But the thing is if you're not willing to have morals, if you're not willing to evolve, if you're not willing to make a judgment call where, hey, this might not be right, then maybe it's not the job for you, man. There's tens of thousands of other jobs out there. I went from one job to another pretty damn quick, because one job wasn't for me anymore. But guess what? It can be as tough as it wants, but that doesn't give anyone an excuse to get away with anything. And I don't think that's what you're implying, Mr. Rich, whatsoever. I'm just saying the thing is if it's too tough for you to be a police officer and make morally sound decisions which benefit communities of all colors, socioeconomic positions, everything, if you can do that, then you're going to be an all right cop, man. But if you're going to be a dickhead, get out of there. It ain't hard, man. Go flip burgers at McDonald's.
If you still have that 1970s and 80s mentality in the police force that the blacks are just out there killing each other, you don't deserve to be on there. How's that?
No, you don't.
If you sound like a cop,
be part of the change, not the problem. Be part of the change, not the problem.
Exactly. And I don't care how long you've been a cop either.
Yep.
Because your tenure does not excuse your behavior. And again, 8 out of 10 times, I believe if you have a group of 10, 8 of them are going to be great police officers. There's probably going to be 2 bad ones. It is incumbent upon those 8 now. This is a call to action to everybody. Stand up and start making sure the 8 outweigh the 2's decisions and get rid of them, because pretty soon you go from 8 to 9. And then maybe one day from 9 to 10.
Well, the toughest part is if it's the chief of police, it's part of that too. What can you do?
That's what I said. It's a culture thing.
Yeah.
You have to change.
Right.
You have to have a culture in place where it doesn't matter who you're reporting. If they're doing wrong, they have to be on the same level as everybody else.
Absolutely.
And that brings up, we had a local a local example of a police officer running off at the mouth on Facebook. If you can breathe, if you can breathe, if you can tell me you can't breathe, then you can breathe. And then getting into it with other people. We've got a local sign mogul. Who not only
you might as well just call him out, brother. There ain't the only one. Yeah, and then just call it out. You want me to say it?
Yeah, you have Frank Saconia.
Frank Saconia.
Not only does he own a sign company, he also owns
construction business too, right?
He also owns the Sabre Plaza. That has probably some of the most disgusting tweets, disgusting Facebook posts I've ever seen for any human. One of which was saying the N-word about regarding George Floyd. Calls out, says that officer deserves a raise, kill another one. talking about Marco Rubio in a different light, and saying the word "spick," which most people have never even heard, but is basically the N-word to a Hispanic person. This guy deserves to lose all of his business. And it's so delicious. I feel like I need a shot of insulin because it's so sweet that he has He has lost his contract with University Hospital, Planet Fitness, Panera.
Chipotle.
Give him another one.
ACM.
What else, Sammy? Sodexo.
Huh? Sodexo. I mean, he's losing all of his side contracts. And while my heart mourns for the people who work, Mr. Heroes also, we'll see ya. Mr. Heroes, which is a local restaurant chain.
Yeah.
And while my heart actually hurts for the people who are going to be involved, the workers who actually do the work for him, I know that you're going to get better. I know you're going to bounce back but you know what? Your work should not put money in that man's pockets. That man deserves, not only that, he lives in Roaming Shores, which I think, isn't Roaming Shores like a close-knit community? Like they have a home.
Yeah, it's a HOA, and then
So
it's not a closed community, but
in my heart of hearts, I hope that that Roaming Shores is going to look and realize that this disgusting human being lives in their neighborhood and they get him the hell out of there. I hope this guy ends up losing his home, his business, and everything because you're a garbage person and that's what you deserve.
Yep.
So
I just got a little bit of information. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead, baby.
No, I'm sorry. My wife. So it's just kind of interesting. It's from the Ashtabula County Sheriff's Office. I mean, it's obviously what you guys think it is. They are aware of it. But one of the things that I thought it was interesting, they have collaborated. They have efforts underway. They're collaborating with the Ashtabula City Police. So this is the Sheriff's Department. Damn it! I locked my phone. Hold on. City Police Department, Ohio State Highway Patrol, the FBI, Fire and EMS, as well as they have activating special ops units and Homeland Security resources will all be at this event on Saturday. So, it's going to get interesting. I just thought, I just want to let everyone know, just some news 20 minutes ago came across. So, breaking news type thing. So it's going to be interesting.
Being just an absolute garbage human being that lives behind a curtain in Roaming Shores. And like I said, I'm calling out to the people of Roaming Shores, boot his ass out of there. Send him somewhere else. Make his life hell too. He is garbage. He is a terrible human being. This is not new. He's been doing this for years. Okay? He's garbage, and if you're hanging around him, understand you're garbage too. Yep. If you lay with the dog, you're going to get fleas, or in Frank Sacconia's case, you're going to get crabs. He is terrible. He's an awful human being. He deserves every ounce of heartache that he gets. I hope he ends up divorced, alone, all by his damn self too, because he's another one. Beat it. You have made your fortune on the backs of the blacks and browns that have worked for you. And for you to say those disgusting words, you don't deserve anything. Yep.
Frank Sacconia looks like the skin graft parasite that Donny Osmond uses when he needs new skin. I'm going to leave it at that.
Oh, Lord.
Frank Sacconia looks like Joey Botafuco's less talented uncle.
All right, it is now 9:39, 9:40. I need a break. I've loved this show so far. I just need 5 minutes to regroup, get a drink of water. I haven't talked this much on the show since we started, I don't think. So, please, everyone, don't forget, who is this guy? Yeah, all you gotta do is bring him up on Facebook, Andrew. You'll find him.
Oh, you can't look him up.
Andrew, what I'll do tomorrow, I'll bring it to you.
He's a coward.
Did you
walk
delete
on over to
everything? I mean,
tomorrow and show
you
you, brother.
screenshotted everything. You screenshotted everything. So real quick, we don't have a business today. I'm just going to use John's stuff just so you guys know, and then I'm going to go into a quick 2-minute, 48-second break, just so you guys have a heads up. Let me bring this up real quick. Hopefully it doesn't mute us. All right, so over top of us right now, sorry, Sammy, you are totally axed from this. But
We'll see you.
coming up on July 18th of 2020, our good friend John McCoy and his company called the Iron Foundation will be holding a golf outing at Maple Ridge Golf Course. There will be cash payouts, 50-50 raffle, sideboard skill shots, and skins. Cost is $240 a team, so that breaks down to about $60. Well, not about. It breaks down to $60 a person. Registration and money due by 2015. June 15th of 2015 or 2020. Can't even spit it out. Been talking that much. So please hit him up. John's number's right there on the bottom. 440. I'm still screwing it up. 216-246-1121. Or you can call over to Maple Ridge, 440-969-1368. Last time we talked to him, he did need a few more holes filled. I know 440 and Goal is going to have a hole there. So if anyone else needs a hole, we'll go from there. So we're going to take 2 minutes, 48 seconds, catch your breath, get a drink of water, and then we'll be right back. Okay, guys?
When we come back, we're going to talk about fantasy football.
Yeah, fantasy football. I am pumped. We do have a good debate, 10 versus 12. Sammy, you can shove it.
Before we go, I want to say this, okay? What Ryan read earlier about the Ashtabula County police force all joining hands to get ready for this protest on Saturday. We're going to be there. I want all that action to have been for nothing. Let's set the tone for what a peaceful protest actually can be. Let's all get together and let's not give them a reason to say that we started it. Let's get together and let's protest peacefully and make some change together. I love you all. I'll see you back in 2.
2 minutes, 48 seconds. Welcome back, all you cool cats and kitties. Man, what an exciting,
Hey,
what an exciting first half of that show,
Baskin
boy.
actually was granted.
Oh, I heard this.
Yeah, she was granted the friggin' zoo, Joe Exotic Zoo. She won it.
Yes.
Was she?
Yeah. So he's probably in there.
Pumping for
in
Christ. Carol
right now.
Baskins. Come on, baby.
Yeah, Carol Baskin. I knew that bitch would get my zoo one day.
That mother.
Dude, he just can't win right now because his husband just left him too. Like, you want to talk about a dude with nothing to lose right now? Joe Exotic has nothing to lose right now. You ain't that straight.
I will never financially recover from this.
I'll tell you what, though.
I think it's
I'll
over.
tell you
brother.
what, for how much of an
It's
asshole
over.
that dude is. He's got some drip, man. That EMS jacket, I've never seen anyone drip so hard.
Man,
Oh,
come
God.
on. Come on. All right. So
That's Kanye
I've
level.
been looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite times of the year. I love me some fantasy football. I don't know really of anyone that doesn't. So going into it, this year, just so everyone knows, 441 Goal, we are going to do a 441 Goal fantasy league. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sammy. So we are doing
Why
a
is it gotta be Sammy
10-man
that corrects
league
you?
because he's the one that always got some crap to say. I wanted to say the other word. I stopped myself. So I myself personally prefer a 12-man league. He wants to go 10-man league. Boo.
10-man league is
Tom, yeah,
superior.
you outvoted me last night. And just so everyone in the audience knows how we do things on the show, if one person wants to do something, it has to have the 2 out of the 3 votes to be able to do it. If it doesn't work and if we don't like it, then that's it. We just don't do it. So I got hosed last night. The 10-man league got the best out of the 3. So
You never
it
get
is what
hosed
it
in
is.
democracy, Ryan. Reason prevails. That's all I can say. Reason will prevail.
I got blackballed then. Fine. Call it whatever you want to call it. All right. So, anyways, 441 Goal is going to be hosting a 10-man fantasy football league this year. So, obviously, we've got a couple months. But we're pretty excited because what we're going to do is we're going to bring on 4 viewers. To be eligible, we're going to randomly draw 4 viewers to be eligible. Yeah, that's the 4-piece. You have to go over to our YouTube site and subscribe. So we're going to have now probably till the middle of August. We haven't set a date for sure. Kickoff usually starts right at like the 27th or somewhere around there. Usually there's one game right in August, but middle of August. And then we're at the middle of August. We're going to randomly select 4 viewers based off of who subscribed to our YouTube channel. And those 4 viewers will be part of the 441 Goal League. So we're pretty excited about that. So anything else you guys want to touch on before we hit the okay, go ahead. Yes.
Couple caveats for all you cool cats. So if you are bestowed the honor
right back, guys,
of being in the 441 Goal Fantasy League, if you don't set your lineups 2 weeks in a row, you're gone, son or daughter. Someone else is going to fill your spot. This league isn't messing around. We expect full participation. So let's say, I'm just going to throw a name out there, Matt Tapassi. All right, Matt, you get in this league. I would love that. You get in this league, and 2 straight weeks you don't fill your roster. You got some dudes on buys that are there for 2 weeks in a row, dude. You're out. No questions asked. There's no petitioning. No nothing. You're out, and we draw another person live to get in and inherits your team. The other thing, the 4 people, it's going to be live on air like Sammy did for that one drawing that you did that one day, Sammy, with the wheel, and we're going to spin the wheel. That way it's transparent. You guys can all see it. We're super pumped. I can't wait.
It is another fake game, Coach Rich. Fantasy football is Dungeons and Dragons for the guys that made fun of the guys playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I love Dungeons.
I love it.
I love Dungeons and Dragons. Don't besmirch Dungeons and Dragons, man. Have you ever seen a Demogorgon try to wipe your whole druid team and your paladin? No, you're done.
Yeah, just take it easy over there in the top right-hand corner. Just because the past 2 shows you're above Sammy doesn't mean that you can just start throwing random crap out there.
Listen, Ryan,
Right.
at least I can
Just
tell.
relax.
Are you using that Rosetta Stone I sent you?
No, just going to continue using. I can't even
So
think
we
about the
waste
word. What
money
do
in
I
the
always
Cole
say, Sammy?
household.
Oh no, they're all mad at me because I bought microphones, a stand, and what else did I buy? The adapters. The
Coming up
adapters.
soon, we are going to do a Temptation style performance. One microphone stand. We're all going to take turns. Hadoop.
No, I bought it specifically for Saturday coming up.
Slide in.
We're gonna do legit
Pause.
live interviews.
AJ
Sammy,
Long, you
Sammy,
are absolutely correct. I have to credit AJ Long with that line about the Dungeons and Dragons for people who made fun of dudes for Dungeons and Dragons. He told me that, and it's the most true thing I've ever heard.
That's not a bad pick.
He'll be
but anyways,
coaching.
I want everyone to see what Sammy purchased for Saturday coming up. Please, dear God, show them this, and I want everyone's rude comments to let him know how much of a turd he is.
It wasn't one of my better ones because I had a whole different idea of walking around with this mobile guy right here.
Hey, it isn't Tony Stark. It's Antonio Stark over here.
And I planned on walking
Puerto Rican
around
Iron Man.
as like an action cam or whatever.
Yep.
But I look like I have a friggin' Thigh Master on my face. So I'm probably not going to wear it because this Thigh Master doesn't have Suzanne Summers attached to it. So I'm not interested.
So he's knocking me. I spent all of $82 on Amazon. $82 on Amazon to get a tripod that was 82 inches tall. He said, what are we going to be, recording someone 10 feet in the air? No. 3 microphones, because there's 3 of us, and some adapters to make it work on the phone. And he comes in hot with that bad boy. So it is what it is. I know you got a deal, Sammy. But anyways.
I just can't wait to watch you do a David Ruffin style turn when you're on the mic.
Here we go. So one of our segments
that comes out of your mouth when you set that mic up isn't "I've got sunshine," then I'm quitting the show.
On a cloudy day.
I'll probably do it. So one of our favorite segments that we haven't done in a while. Let me click the button. Click the button.
Punter grunt.
So yeah, one of our favorite segments. We haven't done it in a couple shows, so definitely the punter grunt episode here. So first one here, I'm gonna let you guys take the floor. Is gonna be PPR versus standard, and why? So is it? I don't know.
So what are we punting or grunting?
What are we punting or grunting? I didn't just thought about that. Are you punting PPR, or are you grunting PPR, or are you punting standard, or are you grunting standard?
So you punt. So you pick one to punt, and obviously the other one is a grunt. Y'all don't know how two choices work?
Yeah, we do, but we have a PPR
Tom,
versus standard.
Huh?
I expect more out of you, Tom. I expect those sort of questions from Chris Farley when he's interviewing Paul McCartney, but not from you.
All right, hey, guess what?
Just PPR, no B.
Remember when you said that love is everything?
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Awesome, man. I love Chris Farley, man. He was great. R.I.P. Gone too soon.
Way too soon.
All right, so Sammy, take the floor. Are you grunting on PPR or
all right?
regular?
So when it comes to PPR versus standard leagues, I've got a punt on PPR. It gives a little bit more strategy to who you're picking, particularly with running backs, because running backs basically rule the roost. Just because there's not that many that are going to get you huge points. Well, there are a lot of running backs that are going to get you points, okay? But the difference between the top level and the mid-level guys is much, much further away than any other position. Particularly in PPR, it just gives it adds some more value to some lower-end running backs. So PPR, I'm going to punt hard for sure. I'm going to grunt on PPR. I'm punting on standard. I played standard for years. PPR is the way to go.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna punt on standard, and I'm going to grunt on PPR, but with a caveat. I'm going to grunt on a 0.5 PPR because PPR is dependent on catches.
0.5 PPR? What does that mean?
It's half point per reception.
Oh,
you play fantasy football, you don't know what it means.
You are just.
I love playing fantasy football. I just hope I get the most points over the team I'm playing. That's all my goal is.
So Ryan, let me talk. So PPR is dependent on catches, which in my opinion are more predictable and in turn require more skill. Standard leagues are more dependent on touchdowns, which kind of tend to be random. 0.5 PPR adds depth to the running back position with third down backs, and it's, in my opinion, the perfectly weighted balance because a full PPR fundamentally shifts the focus of the game to wide receivers. It makes it wide receiver heavy, and it's kind of a bit of a different game. 0.5 kind of gives guys who have that like 7-catch, 89-yard game a little bit more than the guy who had 1 catch for a 40-yard touchdown, which is the way some fantasy players feel it should be. It recognizes and rewards players who are volume players in the passing game while not overblowing it and changing the game that much. So in a standard league, Julio Jones isn't as valuable. I'll put it that way. And everyone loves Julio Jones as a fantasy player. Julio Jones isn't doing much for you in a standard league, but in a PPR league, Julio Jones is the GOAT. So you kind of got to look at it how you want to score it, man, you know?
So I'm going to go best for so I'm reading too here. Yes, I can read. So I am going to be grunting on PPR and punting the standard. So when I first started years ago, it was standard. That's the only way I knew how to play it. And even though there was another PPR, no surprise there, I know. Let's see. But I like I'm sorry, I'm trying to read comments and look at that. Yeah, Sammy's mad at you. But PPR, I just like that, the running backs can grab the points out of the backfield. They make a catch versus all that fun stuff. But so we're just move on from that anyways. So PPR grunt or PPR grunt, standard punt. Sounds like a football play. So and then next one,
I will say
regular
the PPR is it does heavily favors wide receivers and tight ends. So you really got to find a good balance, especially like points per carry. I like a full point per carry. Because it gives those middle of the road running backs a little bit of extra. That's where you get guys like Bilal Powell becoming valuable. Right. But yeah, I'm still PPR all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So next one, regular versus a super flex, and why? And go. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I keep backing out. My wife made a banging calzone, and I'm trying not to eat it on air. It is. Listen, she makes them just about as good as anybody. So I'll be right back.
Oh boy. So I'm going to punt on Superflex. I don't like Superflex. I feel that a dude who doesn't know anything about fantasy football can come out there and just throw 2 quarterbacks in there. Like they could have Aaron Rodgers by some miracle of Christ have Tom Brady on there too, and they're going to win every game. It doesn't matter who it has. I like the kicker aspect because when you have a super flex, you get rid of a kicker or you get rid of defense generally. And I really like having kickers. I mean, like I almost won my league one year with the foot of Harrison Butker from the Chiefs, man. Like that was pretty dope. But Superflex we tried last year in my work league, and it was fun because it was different. It was the first time I did it, but it just didn't feel like there was that much strategy to me as there was in the first year. And like, let's say your quarterback gets hurt at Thanksgiving, man, you're done. You are done. Kiss that league goodbye. Like because I had Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. Okay. Dak Prescott got hurt for a few weeks, And
Someone just
I was done. I had Ryan Fitzpatrick starting for me at one point. He had a couple good games, but I mean, it wasn't at the level that I could have had with Dak. And the thing is when you just have a flex, I think it adds a whole other level of strategy. The super flex, every quarterback, all starting quarterbacks are on rosters, and then you got to fill up your valuable fantasy bench spots with a backup quarterback or two, and it just,
it's trash.
I just don't like it. It's too much, man. It's trash. And Keats is in the league that I'm in. He's actually the commissioner. He does a really good job. 12-person league was a terrible idea last year for a super
Don't
flex.
you co-sign already? We're not even talking about it yet, Andrew.
So,
Sammy, go.
To address Coach Rich, 0.5 per catch plus whatever. They get the 6 points per touchdown and the yardage. We actually mess around with touchdowns. I think we went touchdowns over 40 yards. You got another point. We messed around with some, we really made a lot of crazy plays where you get some extra points for. But basically, it's just standard 0.5 per catch, and then yardage and touchdown. 6 points. Super flex is stupid, and anybody who plays in those leagues is dumb because it's basically like playing Madden on rookie mode. You want to go out there and you want to score 400 points a week. That's stupid. That's really, really stupid. I like the regular flex. I think there's a lot more strategy involved with it. You got to find a good back, a good tight end, a good wide receiver. It's a good way to draft around. If anybody else wants to play, you can have 15. Why don't we just play all quarterbacks? I'll take 15 quarterbacks. You take 15 quarterbacks. Let's see who plays best. We'll
and
put
Sammy, you touched on a really good point. There's strategy. Like 2 years ago, man, that's how I found out who Austin Eckler is, man. Like I had Austin Eckler. I grabbed him off because I needed a running back. My one running back got hurt in preseason. I didn't have a running back backup, like a second backup at running back. And I was like, oh, this guy might be good. Melvin Gordon's hurt right now. Let's see what he can do. I think the first week he had like 17 points, and then the next week he had 20-something. I was like, oh, shit, I think I got my flex now, guys. Oh.
Well, I'll tell you what. I had a similar story to that with Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry got hurt immediately, got dropped. I paid attention. I love that show, The League, and I find myself being like those guys on there where I'm just watching injury reports all the time. So he got dropped, and I saw he was down for 7 weeks. So I picked him up. He ends up being my starting tight end because let me tell you, OJ Howard I don't care what the hell he does. That prick is the worst. I drafted him in like the 5th round. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. So I hope he gets 0 touchdowns this year because he's terrible. And one thing I want to kind of put out there, I don't know if we're going to cover it, officially or not, but we want to talk about the importance of the football position of players and where you're drafting them. Everybody drafts running backs first, and everybody drafts wide receivers next. Tight ends are so hard to come by. And we're so hard to come by last year. I'm really considering taking some tight ends early because the difference between Kelsey and Kittle and Eric Ebron was ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely not a tight end heavy league.
I drafted George Kittle in the 3rd round last year, man. Not ashamed. Not ashamed.
All right, so super flex, just so I understand, you could put a quarterback in the another.
Yeah, I don't know why they call it super flex. It's basically, do you want to have a quarterback as a flex? Because anybody who doesn't play a quarterback at their super flex doesn't want to win.
Right.
Exactly.
So yeah, obviously, I'm going to hard punt that one, the super flex. Definitely Garten on regular. That's what I played the whole time. I've never done a super flex league. I've always done regular PPR and then regular across the board the way it works out. So total grunt on regular, total punt on super flex, and I don't have a reason why because I don't care.
I don't want to put any rules in because last year I was in this draft where we had this rock star and he took a kicker in the 4th round, and it was my favorite. He was definitely the Andre of the group, and it was standing. I almost talked him into drafting Plaxico Burress, but he had his phone on.
So, figured out that's
The
not
double
a real
entendres.
thing.
Double entendres.
All right, so the one I've been waiting for is
You're
going to be
about to lose
10-man
again, bud.
league. No, probably. I lose on every time. What's it matter? What's the difference now between the last 10 shows and now? Who cares? Who cares? All right, 10-man league versus 12-man league. I like a 12-man league. I'm going first, if you couldn't tell, because it is so much more competitive. There are less choices, and you have to actually know. You can't randomly pick somebody. Even if it's on if you're trying to pick someone up because they're on a bye, you have to have somebody that can or you have to have the knowledge of what they're going to be able to accomplish, or possibly on a 10-man league, you can get away with grabbing somebody, a cheap tight end, a cheap wide receiver, and hope they have a good game, because those cheap wide receivers, they're not going to be there in a 12-man league. In a 10-man league, they'll be there. They will be there. 12-man won't. So, hey, wait. Let me make it official, because you got me amped up. I am hard punting on the 10-man league, and I am hard grunting on the 12-man league. I'm done.
Listen,
I ate all my calzone, so I can't keep eating.
I am grunting on
Of course you are.
10-man league like Ryan when he bends over to put his flip-flops on.
So, hey, where's your Air Force Wands? All right, it took you 25 minutes to tie one side of them. Don't start your crap with me. And real quick, Joe, real quick, Joe Rich asked a legitimate question. How do you pick the order of the draft? It is randomly drawn. We put the names in a hat or whatever it is. There's actually, I think, ESPN does it, but we do it differently because we can do it ourselves. So, but yes.
Listen,
thank you, Nick. I have a second co-signer, and he's kind of part of that decision-making process in a way. He might only count for half.
It is decided.
It is decided. Yes, Pete. Decided.
No, so 10-man league. Here's the problem with 10-man. Here's the problem with 12-man. I understand that you have to be much more strategic in a 12-man. You have to have a deeper draft board. You really have to make more sound decisions. And yeah, you say that you can go out on a limb on players, but that's really not until the late rounds. And good players don't go out. Good fantasy football players don't go out on a limb. They make educated guesses on people.
So you're contradicting yourself. It's fine. Go ahead.
The problem is with 12-man league.
He's not contradicting himself.
With a 12-man league, it's very, very difficult to get 12 men to play the game. It's hard enough to get 10 people to play the game. And you go like this, but how many people set their lineups last year when we played? And we only had a 10-man. So what happens is you get 4 weeks of everybody paying attention. Then after 4 weeks, you get one guy who starts, maybe he forgets to put a active kicker in, or he doesn't change his defense out. And then by the time you're at the end of the season, nobody's doing anything except the top 4 players.
I mean, that's probably all leagues, though. When you're not going to make the playoffs, it doesn't matter. They dump it.
10-man. I like 10-man. It gives you a little bit. You got a little bit of room. You can take a chance in a 10-man league.
Hey, AJ disagrees with you as well.
I've been in a 14-man
you're lazy
league before with 2 quarter. Now that was strike. See that I couldn't. There's no way. 14
so your mental capacity just can't handle it. Is all you're saying?
I'm not. Listen, 14-man league. That is ridiculous. You do have.
I've been in a 14-man league.
You do
14-man league with stuff.
I am. Like I said, I'm grunting on 10-man. I'm punting on 12.
I meant to say that the other way, but it's fine.
So obviously everyone on the show knows that every time I do a punter grunt, I do stuff with caveats and I kind of make my own rules. I'm going to do that again.
Here we go.
I am going to grunt on a 12-man league, even though I want a 10-man league for this.
Bullshit.
The The reason is I have always had more fun in a 12-man league. Realistically, in a 10-man league, which we're going to be running, we need to make sure that... Is there even a point to talk? Can I finish? Can I finish? Like the Canadian guy from South Park. Can I finish? All right, Ryan. I'm done.
I'm done.
Can you even spell contradict? Anyway.
Yeah, there's a spell check. It will happen.
All right. So the thing is, a 12-man league is going to afford you more strategy, which I like. But realistically, this is a 4-4 on goal league. We are going to have some dudes that come in here and just lose interest after a while. So a 10-man league is going to be a little bit more easy to manage. It's going to be a little bit more easy to, maybe we get a guy in here who just really wants to be part of it and doesn't understand it as well as we do. So it'd be a good introduction for him for her to introduce them to fantasy football. So the thing is a 10-man league is good for something like what we're doing. But if we want to do a 12-man league, we can do an offshoot of the 4-4 on goal league and call it the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Ryan Cole and have a 12-man league with that.
At least you understand.
If we want to do that.
First off, let me make something abruptly clear. In this league,
abundantly, not abruptly.
It can be
abundantly.
Why can't it be abruptly?
Because you're not Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. You're Ryan Cole.
Whatever. Let me tell you, this is a no holds bar league. If you want to bring in Joe from down the road who just got done watching the German soccer league and he wants to hop in with fantasy football, that's fine. If he takes a kicker in the first round, that's not my problem. I'm telling you right now.
Nick brings up an even worse league than Superflex. Independent players. Man, is that
Can we
terrible.
please?
No.
Can we please? Oh my God.
No, that's where my laziness kicks in. Will not.
That is,
can't.
Why don't we do a 14-man IDP league?
Oh my God.
You'll spend 30 hours a week trying to set your lineup.
A statistics stream. I'd win that league on principle.
Yeah,
I'll tell
you'd walk around looking like Stephen Hawking because you'd have a stroke.
That was horrible. That was horrible.
Oh.
That was
all right.
horrible.
Next topic. So we're done with punter grunt. So we all know that the 10-man league sucks and 12-man's way better, just so we're all clear. Anywho, draft order. Draft order. So how 4-4 on goal is going to do their draft order. It's going to be randomly picked. Your name will go in a hat. And we will actually probably, now that I think about it, we'll probably do a live show that does the draft order right live with everyone, so it's recorded. They know it's not fake, all that fun stuff. Sammy puts up his dumb spinner thing, and that's the end of it. So I know there's some leagues where if you have a continuous league, the loser goes first, just like in the NFL. If you're the Browns from the last 20 years, you pick in the first round. That's just what it is. So, but goes from there. But let me see. Sammy sent me a private chat message. Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about that. That's what he's saying. It's fine. I get it. Anyways,
Step 15 there,
so that. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize what time it was. You're right. All right. Wait, what did you say to go into? Wide receivers? You put top 3S, top 3W. What in the? Anyways, all right. So now we're gonna jump right into
top threes for the love of God, not top 3S.
You put top 3W,
and that's why I put top 3S underneath of it, as in top threes. Jesus.
Don't care.
Ryan,
anyways, top 3 running backs. I am home. Thank you. Anyways, top 3 running
real
backs.
Home, the mental institution.
The top 3 running backs right now. Well, are we gonna? All right. So actually, you guys go.
All right.
Man, I got a topic that I want to cover that I think would be interesting, but I don't think we have enough time. I'll save it for next Tuesday.
Who cares if we run over a little bit? This is fun.
Right. But anyways, yeah, anywho. So top 3 running backs.
Okay.
Sammy, are you pulling out a fantasy football agenda over there?
I did, in fact, write down a couple things.
I did, in fact.
As a matter of fact, I did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That Veronica Vaughn.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. No, I didn't. You can imagine what it'd be like if I did.
All right. Well, so
Say-
for running
say-
back and running backs only, I actually did two different top threes because of the PPR versus standard. So my top three it's not directly in order, and that's because I'm taking into account, I don't think, first of all, I want to say this. I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to have a great year. That's my first hot take. I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to be a top 10 running back this year. I just
you need to
don't.
throw some water on that, brother.
So my number one is going to be Christian McCaffrey because he's Christian McCaffrey. I mean, Ryan was competitive last year, and that was the only player he had.
Call it what you want.
It was a good pick by you.
Call it what you want.
Second,
Let it ride. Sorry.
I think the second best running back this year is going to be Derrick Henry in PPR.
Okay.
I know he doesn't catch super well out of the backfield, but he was like top 7 in catches last year, and he's 6'7" or whatever. He's a giant. Tannehill's going to rely on him heavily. So he's going to get tons of carries. He's going to get. I think he's going to be the second best running back, PPR or standard. He's going to be the second best.
Okay.
Third is going to be Ezekiel Elliott in PPR. Dak is heavily relying on him, and whoever ends up going there is going to be heavily relying on him. Although they do have a good receiving core, so there's some left to be. Non-PPR, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be in non-PPR leagues. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be a really, really good pick. He's going to be good in PPR too. He's just not going to be the elite level. And I will say this, this is all with the understanding that the Cleveland Browns have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. If by some reason Kareem Hunt leaves Cleveland, Nick Chubb then becomes a top 3 running back.
I can co-sign
Like
with
that
that.
take.
All right.
Like that take.
I'm going to rattle it off just for the sake of time. I, too, differentiated it between PPR and non-PPR. So for PPR, my top 3 running backs would be Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, and Austin Eckler.
Okay.
If I'm going non-PPR, I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook. That's who I'm going to go with there. And I could almost say that in PPR, I would go Eckler / Kamara. I think we're going to have a very similar stat line this year. So that's what I would go with for running backs.
Man, it's tough for me. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey off the rip. That's just who. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to disagree with Sam. I think Saquon's going to have another year, another good year. It was decent last year. He just gets better and better every year. And then that third one, that's a tough one. But I'm going to probably go Derrick Henry. Derrick put up numbers last year all year long. They were consistent. He didn't have the fluctuating game of 30 points one game and 2 the next. He was consistently good.
I'm telling you somebody who is almost on my list because I thoroughly believe he's going to – just the same way I believe Saquon's not going to have a great year. I think this guy has a comeback year and ends up being a top 5 running back in PPR. Todd Gurley in Atlanta.
Ooh, I forgot about that. Good point.
Watch out for that guy.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley's a good player.
And then Coach Rich asked Tom why Elliott non-PPR.
Oh, he's going to get
why?
yard.
Well, Ezekiel Elliott's going to get yards for sure, but everyone talks about the Cowboys having this great offensive line and stuff. The thing is, guys, Dallas lost a couple guys on their offensive line this past year. Dak isn't going to be as motivated, I don't think, because he doesn't have his contract. And you've got Amari Cooper and you have a new stud receiver coming in. It's going to take a lot of attention away from Ezekiel Elliott in terms of getting touches. And I really think Elliott's going to suffer. Elliott's going to suffer from that.
Yes, Brendan.
Elliott's going to suffer from that. The way that DeAndre Hopkins is no longer a top 3 wide receiver because he left Deshaun Watson and is now with Kyler Murray. It's just a change of circumstances, man. And honestly, I mean, I like Zeke. I think he's a really good running back, but I think that Zeke falls into the 4th or 5th spot this year, maybe even the 6th in terms of non-PPR numbers for a fantasy running back.
So just so everyone knows, I am on fantasypros.com. That's the site I like to use to help me make my picks when I do it. They're tier 1 top 5 running backs in a PPR league. Just so everyone knows, is McCaffrey at 1, Barkley at 2, Elliott at 3, Kamara at 4, and Dalvin Cook at 5. So
here's another one to watch out for.
Saquon's not going to have.
And you guys can thank me for this, just because of the way their offense is. JK all day. Baltimore. Watch that dude. Gonna be a monster. They love to run the ball.
You think he'll have more touches than Ingram?
I think he's gonna have more touches than Ingram. I think he might have more touches than Nick Chubb this year.
Oof.
So
hey, Brendan, I get that, dude, but you don't got Eli anymore, man. You got an unproven commodity in Daniel Jones, a porous offensive line, and really nobody at wide receiver. I mean,
Saquon's season last year was laughable.
Yeah, Saquon had this type of season that Baker Mayfield had. Hyped up rookie year, regressed big time in his sophomore year.
I understand that he has quads like Earl Campbell, but you're going to have to show me something there, bud.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right.
You want
top
one?
3 quarterbacks. I mean, I think this is a...
You know who's not
going to see if it's a no-brainer. Do-do. Yeah, I know where it's going. So I'm going to go first. I'm going first. Fine. Call it what you want. Yeah, Eli won't be on your list. You're right, Brendan. So obviously the top 1 and 2, what everyone's going to be shooting for is going to be Lamar or Patty. That's just what it is. There's no way if you tell me that someone else is going to go right. I mean, if you tell me that those two aren't going to go 1 and 2 quarterbacks off the board, you're a liar. That's just. I myself would think about taking one of those two before a running back.
Yep.
Just my opinion.
Yep.
My opinion. So myself, so 1 and 2, Lamar and Pat, in either one of those, that could be 1A or 1 and 1A to me. But then the 3, and I'm going with it. Sam is going to hate me for it, but I love the guy, Russell Wilson. No, not a shot. Russell Wilson will be better than, I'll name the top 5 they got top 6 here. So, but yes, go ahead. Those are my top 5, and I could care less because we're playing a PPR league. In a PPR league, those are my top 3.
All right, so mine obviously is Lamar and Pat. Lamar Jackson might be worth taking number 1 overall. He made that much of a difference last year.
Yeah, he did.
Pat Mahomes was winning games for teams too because they're putting up Madden numbers. Do I think I'd pull the trigger on that? Hell no. I'm still drafting a running back number 1. But I'm definitely considering if those guys last to the second round this year, I'm 100% taking whoever's there. My third, and I'm going to catch so much crap for this, but remember, we're talking about fantasy football, not just being the best quarterback. Fantasy football number-wise, Josh Allen out of Buffalo.
Damn it.
Wow.
The guy. That's the guy. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Josh Allen, I had him last year, was outperforming, was a top 10 quarterback almost all year stats-wise. Was a beast. And he got Stephon Diggs this year.
Stidham. Look at AJ Long coming in super hot.
There's really no point in me going over it. I'm going to have an identical list to Sammy, but number 1 for me, Patty Mahomes. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Number 3, Josh Allen. And I'll do an honorable mention. Deshaun Watson, number 4.
I'll tell you what, you have really talked me off the ledge with him because of him losing Hopkins. I wanted to put him there, but I think Josh Allen's going to outdo him.
Yes. So
Watson's going to be he's a good guy to have. But I will tell you this.
Question.
Watson's numbers on average are going to be 15 points less than Lamar and Pat Mahomes every week.
Sure, every single week.
So is this the first year Tom Brady's not QB1 on a team?
No. If Tom
Brady
was
hasn't been
QB1
QB1 on a
your
team
last
since
year,
Randy
he
Moss.
lost.
Really?
Yeah.
Tom Brady is Tom Brady and
when is the last time Tom Brady has been QB1 material?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you
probably
guys.
Because he's
probably
not a stat monster.
2008, probably 2008 when he had Randy Moss.
12-man league. Is he a QB1?
Well, he has to be. I would probably rank Tom Brady as like my 11th or 12th best quarterback
Don't
in a
forget,
fantasy
we're not
league.
talking about best like as a player. We're talking about
Yeah.
stats here.
Yeah,
Tom
we're talking about
just
stats.
does not put up stats.
But see, here's
All
the
right,
thing too, though.
Yeah.
Like Drew Brees, I mean, great quarterback, but Drew Brees hasn't been a QB1 in a fantasy league, in my opinion, for the past 2-3 years when they've started to take him out of games because of Taysom Allen and Teddy Bridgewater, man. You got a lot of people, like, if you guys aren't well versed.
Ooh,
What's up?
speaking of
You're
Bridgewater,
still gonna
talk
play him
about
over
a
Brady.
sleeper.
And depending on the matchup, you're probably going to play him over Rodgers too.
I mean, I would situationally, but here's the thing: when you get later into the season, like the Saints are 13-1 at this point. They got 2 games left. They've already locked up the division. They ain't putting Drew Brees in for the whole game. You got to start strategizing what you're gonna do with your quarterback position. Does that mean that you go and you find a guy like Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew, Jared Goff, who I lumped in the same category, Matthew Stafford? You got to start finding that kind of stuff, man. And yeah, Joe Tampa does have some stud receivers, but it's a whole new offense. And Tom Brady is great, but he's not going to go in there and light the world on fire and throw for 5,500 yards his first year in Tampa Bay. It just ain't going to happen.
I'll tell you who's going to be fantasy
happen.
poison this year at quarterback. Sam Darnold.
God in heaven.
He is the type of player that is going to get you 30 points one week and 6 the next.
Yep. Super
inconsistent.
He might even go negative one week.
Yeah, I'm avoiding that
negative.
at all costs.
All costs.
Tom Brady's going to be there this year too. I know that breaks Jake Newsom's heart, but Tom Brady's fantasy poison this year.
Right. So top 10 quarterback. I'm going to do 10 just because there's so many names out there. Lamar Jackson at 1, coming in at 2, Patty Mahomes, 3, Dak Prescott.
I don't want to take your money, Joe. I don't need
Number 4, Russell Wilson. Number 5, Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
Number
they're
6,
high as a giraffe's rear end for that.
Yeah.
Number 6, Deshaun Watson. Number 7, Sammy and Tom's pick, Josh Allen. 8, Matt Ryan. 9, Drew Brees. And coming in at 10, Thomas Brady. So that is kind of interesting. They have him as a top 10.
ESPN has a completely different for PPR ranking. They have Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, the biggest scrub in the league, then Josh Allen. The biggest scrub in the league, by the way, is Russell Wilson. Josh Allen. They have Tom Brady at 8.
Yeah, that's
Matt Ryan at 9 and Drew Brees at 10. Oh my God! And there's another name that is absolute poison to your team: Carson freaking Wentz. Stay away.
Stay so far away from Carson Wentz, dude. You can't even make out what hair color he's got.
If you draft Carson Wentz, just play fantasy soccer because your league sucks.
All right, next one. Getting in the top 3 WR. So top 3 wide receivers in the league. Go.
Michael Thomas is a no-brainer. Tyreek Hill. Big play guy. I really don't want to say it because Newsom will be all over this. Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is going to have a year with Tom Brady out there. So that's
the year with Jameis. Yeah,
and I will tell you, I've drafted Julio Jones on every fantasy team I have had for the last 4 years. And last year was the most disappointing year I've ever had with him. So don't know if I'm taking him.
Yeah, for the past 2 years, I took DeAndre Hopkins with my first pick in the first round. Like I usually picked at like 10 or 11. But this year, man, I'm going to stay so far away from DeAndre Hopkins. It's
David
disgusting.
Revis. Hopkins quarterback sucks.
Is trash.
Yeah.
So my number one receiver in a PPR league is going to be Michael Thomas. Number 2 is going to be Devontae Adams from Green Bay. And number 3, I'm probably going to go with Tyreek Hill. For a PPR league, though, I'm going to go – or for a non-PPR, I'm sorry. For a non-PPR league, I'm going to go Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and Tyreek Hill. Devontae Adams doesn't tickle my fancy in a non-PPR league. And I did not say OBJ. I know it's sacrilegious. I got to text him later and apologize to him and throw a kiss emoji in there. But I think he'll forgive me.
Put it this way. In a PPR league, Jarvis Landry much more valuable than OBJ.
Every day. So even when Odell was on the Giants, it's still
Jarvis Landry.
Well, obviously,
he nabs 9-10 catches a game. Like
he had 114 receptions one year. Come on.
He just catches the ball.
So I'm going to go Michael Thomas all day. One of the best receivers in the league last year. Then I'm going to come back. Man, I'm going to have to – this is tough. If I was picking on a board and these – I'm just looking at some names myself, but I'd probably have to go Julio Jones. That's a tough one, though.
Edelman, Rich? What about Edelman?
No. Julio Jones.
Not even a top 40 receiver.
And then I'll go – I got to take someone with Tom Brady. Sorry, I have to, so I'll probably go to Chris Godwin. I am assuming. Yeah. Now, one dark horse, and it's all going to depend on one man this year. It's not OBJ. It's not going to be Jarvis Landry. My dark horse, and I will pick him up in a late round, is going to be Hollywood Higgins. I really think if Jarvis puts it on, if Baker puts it on this year, it's going to be a different ball game for him. Yeah, we did RBs already.
RB was
David.
Literally the first thing we did, David. It was literally the first thing we did.
Yeah.
Now, this next one is where it really gets interesting because top 3 tight ends.
Well, hold on. Before we go there, something to take into account. Adam Thielen is now the primary target in Minnesota.
Yes, he is.
Adam Thielen was already a top-level performer.
He was a top 10 for sure.
Think about. Adam Thielen has a better year this year than Stephon Diggs, I think. Both of them.
I can believe it.
Both of those guys are top 10 wide receivers, though.
Right.
Fantasy. In
I
fantasy.
can believe it.
Yeah. All right. So the toughest one is top 3 tight ends.
No, it's not.
Because obviously, it is tough. Yeah.
I'll rattle it up for you right now, bro. I'll rattle up for you right now. I'm not going to do PPR, non-PPR. I'm just doing top 3 tight ends for fantasy football. Travis Kelce, number 1. Kittle, number 2. And Andrews from Baltimore at number 3. Easy.
Okay.
Billman, same time. Good for you.
Hooper's going to have a better year than Andrews. So mark that down. Stamp it here.
I don't know.
Right here. Right now.
I don't know.
Right now. Yeah. Right now. Because you know what? Do you know what a bad quarterback's best friend is?
A tight end.
Tight end.
A bad quarterback's best friend is a hot wife he can cry to. I thought.
Listen, for a quarterback, Baker Mayfield, who's running all over the damn place and gets himself into shitty positions all the time, that dump off, baby, to a big tight end who can catch the rock. PPR, Hooper's getting points. End zone, Hooper's getting points. Hooper's a top 3 guy this year. Don't be surprised if he's got better numbers than Kittle.
That will be interesting.
The only reason I top 3 then over Kelce is because Kelce has a good quarterback.
So you got Kels, Hooper, and Kittle is what you're saying.
Yeah, I got Kelsey, Kittle, and Hooper. Kelsey
Okay.
and Kittle, I don't think you can argue. Like those are 1 and 1A.
Okay, right. Well, I don't know. Ertz from Philly, as long as Wentz is healthy, that's his main. That's his that's his man right there. So I'd probably. I like George Kittle. I like the atmosphere that he brings when he plays the game. But I'd probably go Kels, Ertz, and then I hate to say this, but I do strongly agree with Sammy. I'm going to go with Hooper. I think he's going to be.
Dude,
I think he's going to clean up some numbers.
Kittle?
Mm-hmm. If Wentz is healthy, yes.
That's
so just so everyone knows, right? Top 4 wide receivers per FantasyPros.com is Travis Kelce.
You stop it right now, AJ. He does not.
Travis Kelce.
He has a better looking quarterback.
Kelce. I never know. I know who he is. I just never know how to say his name. Is it Kelce or Kelsey?
Kelsey.
I've heard
he's from Cleveland.
Is it Kelsey? Oh, that's good. I'm from Ashtabula. Not everyone knows how to say it.
Ryan, with that logic, you call Lil Wayne Little Wayne.
I probably
Little
did.
Wayne.
Probably would. But anyways, Travis Kelce,
capital
George
Z.
Kittle at number 2, Zach Ertz from Philly at number 3, and Mark Andrews from Baltimore at number 4. And let's see, what do we got?
All right,
left?
who's your biggest sleeper this year? Any position.
I gotta think about that for a minute. I really gotta think about that for a minute.
I am gonna go with. Let me think. You know what? I'm gonna go. Well, would you just look at? I'm gonna go with Jack. Just look at it. I'm gonna go with Jack Doyle from the Indianapolis Colts. He's finally true tight end one again. Phillip Rivers loves tight ends. They got a good system where they can deploy him. I think Jack Doyle's a big sleeper, and I think you're going to see a big amount of numbers come out of his wheelhouse, brother. That Colts is about to buck wild. Let me tell you what. And he's going to have a big old shoe of Copenhagen in, like a good old boy.
An old Chosky.
Old Chosky. Hey, Bobby Boucher might be a good pick, Revis. I mean, he did lead that defense very well, and the defense was noticeably better with him on the field in nickel and cover too. I'll tell you what.
All right, I'm gonna give two, and then you can circle back around. My biggest sleeper obviously is going to be, I think, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins right now is number 40 on the running backs list. I think he's going to be top 10 by the end of the year. Most overrated this year is going to be Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is going to go very early in leagues. Kyler Murray is not going to be a top 10 quarterback this year. Arizona sucks.
They do this. You know, actually, I'm going to circle back real quick, Sam. Another sleeper for me, Kalen Ballage from the Dolphins. Kalen Ballage, the running back from the Dolphins, man. I think he's going to have a big year in fantasy football this year. They're not going to want to put the ball into his hands that much while he learns the intricacies of Brian Flores' offense, and I think the running back stable is going to have a big year. I think Tua is going to be dumping it off a lot to the running back in the flat. They did spend some money this offseason on shoring up that offensive line in the tight end position. Gesicki's great in pass and run block in the flat. I think you're going to see Ballage do some things. I don't think he's going to be like a top 10 back, but I think he'll be like a top 17 or 18.
All right, so I'm going to throw out my I got two sleepers. I'm not going to go the fail of the year or whatever. One, I forgot about him. No one's really talked about him, and he went to Dallas. CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be interesting.
I talked about him earlier.
Very much there. Did you?
Yeah.
I don't remember if you did, so I do apologize.
Listen, CeeDee Lamb's either going to be a top guy or you're not going to know his name.
Yes.
There's not going to be any in between.
He's the next Michael Gallup.
Oh, the other one, and I'm going out on a limb here, and it is more of me being a Browns fan than anything in the world. And I pray to God he does it right and puts his stuff together, and that's going to be Baker Mayfield. It's a make or break year for Baker. It's a make or break year, and if he makes it, he's going to put up numbers like no one in Cleveland's ever seen. Just what it is. David Rivas,
beyond a sleeper.
Shove it up your pie hole, okay? But
I hope you're right. I
think all Cleveland fans do. But I thought about it. Baker's. It's a make or break year. So, and they have him at like the number 20th quarterback in fantasy right now. So,
it's not a bad spot for him to be right now. Show me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Sammy, like you always say, show me. He hasn't shown anything. He had high expectations last year. He took a dump in the bed. And here's the thing, man. You got to show me. If he did what he did last year with those weapons that he has, and he didn't have that great of stats, I'd rank him below 20 right now. I'd put him at 25. I'd put him below Gardner Minshew right now.
Excuses are gone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
excuses are gone.
Yeah, trust me, if I am a late round and I need a QB, I'll pick him up all day long. I'll play the.
Ain't no shame in that game, brother.
All right, it is good night. I can't believe it's already 10:40. Tonight was just one of the most interesting shows I think we've had.
It was a good one.
Out of 19, this is probably I'll go number one on my docket of interesting. Well, 1 and 1A because having Coupon was pretty good too. So
yeah.
I want to thank everyone that's joined us tonight. Don't forget to like, share, and give us a thumbs up before you leave tonight. We're also over on YouTube at 440 and Goal. Don't forget, we got about 2 months before it, but we are going to have the 440 and Goal first annual Fantasy Football League. If you want to be one of the 4 that are part of it, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. And in about 2 months from now, we're going to do a random order, let everyone know who's playing with us. So, I don't know if you guys got anything else, but this is Ryan Cole. Thanks again for watching. I'm getting out of here tonight.
Great show. Appreciate all of you. Coach, I'll see you soon.
Hey, guys. Tom, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making your voices heard, and continue to make your voices heard this entire time. Do not let the fear of someone being upset distract you from the fact that now your voice is more valuable than ever.
Yep. Remember that. All right. I'm out. We're all out. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Oh, sorry. Friday, 8:30.
Friday,
8:30. 8:30.
Saturday,
Friday, 8:30.
Yeah, and then Saturday, so everyone knows, Tom, I don't think will be there, but me and Sammy will be probably the first one there, and then I'll be shortly behind him. We'll be going live down there, doing some interviews, getting a lot of good footage, and we'll probably, I'd imagine we'll end up with a Sunday night special of some sort. So, but we'll figure that out. That remains to be seen. But right now, for sure, Friday 8:30, and then Saturday at some point in time, you'll get that notification when we go live. So, again, guys, thanks again. We're out.
Later.
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 440 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 440 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 440 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.